Hey folks, and welcome to High Spots and Cheap Pops News. And by the way, we're going to be doing this every single solitary week. Every time there's a televised wrestling event, we're going to have an update. And this morning, we're going to be reviewing last night's Monday Night Raw live from Philadelphia, where the main event was going to be a triple threat match between Doudrop, my girl Liv Morgan, and Bianca Belair, three of the top stars on WWE Raw, of course, going to vie for Becky Lynch's title. That was going to be the main event. We had a lot of other things going on. The show opened from Philadelphia, and the crowd was red hot. But a great job last night from the Philadelphia crowd. The show opens with highlights, recapping everything going on with Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. Show starts off like a lot of shows have started off lately with the Beast, Brock Lesnar, with Paul Heyman in tow. Not much to say about their promo. Kind of comes out and says something real quick until Bobby Lashley comes out. By the way, it's so great seeing Brock Lesnar being full-blown professional wrestler. He was kind of handicapped a little bit. You didn't really see all of his talents as a pro wrestler over the last decade or so because Paul Heyman has been his mouthpiece. The guy's a great pro wrestler. He can cut a great promo. He's got great emotions, and not only that, in ring, he's one of the most dominant forces you'll ever see. After Brock does a little shout-out to Philadelphia, cut to Bobby Lashley. He hits his music. He comes out. And Bobby Lashley shows great respect initially. It's an honor to be in the ring with you. It's an honor to look you in the eye. And it's an honor to look you in the eye and tell you, you have been ducking me for 20 years. Lesnar didn't take kindly to this, and Brock Lesnar responded absolutely perfectly. Brock Lesnar went on saying that he's been winning championships in this ring and other rings, and he didn't even know who Bobby Lashley was until day one. And he also went to say that Brock Lesnar had met Bobby Lashley. Brock would have beaten him already, and they wouldn't even be here. Brock then goes to the good old knock-knock joke. He goes to Paul Heyman and says, "Hey, Paul, knock-knock." Paul Heyman goes, "Brock Lesnar doing a knock-knock joke in Philadelphia. I thought I seen it all." And you could tell, by the way, Paul Heyman's not super comfortable with this happy-go-lucky Brock Lesnar. You could tell Heyman just doesn't feel right, if it makes any sense. His emotions and little things you see going on with Paul Heyman's reactions, nobody's going to tell me he's not turning on Brock Lesnar when he faces Roman Reigns. Nobody in their life. And it's not even a foregone conclusion. By the way, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't do it. But Paul Heyman's turning on Brock Lesnar. We know that. Come on. Anyway, Lesnar does a knock-knock joke, which was brilliant. Knock-knock, and Paul says, "Who's there?" Brock says, "Bobby." And Paul says, "Bobby who?" Brock says, "Exactly." So basically, Brock is clowning Bobby Lashley right now, saying, "I don't even know who you are. You've never been good enough to be in the ring with me. What have you?" So Brock's now being not only funny, and the crowd popped for it too, he's being very entertaining, and he's doing it with himself, not using Paul Heyman. So again, Brock Lesnar, I love seeing this version of Brock Lesnar. You understand how good of a professional wrestler he really is. Brock then finishes up by saying it's impossible to beat Brock Lesnar. Brock then says it's even more impossible to beat Brock Lesnar when you're a Brock Lesnar wannabe. Mic drop, he walks out of the ring, and then the Hurt Business, who earlier in the night cut away to Bobby Lashley during Brock Lesnar's entrance. The Hurt Business thought they were together again. I don't know how that happened. I don't really know. Not a lot going on with this. I guess they're trying to make Bobby Lashley a babyface. I don't know. But anyway, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin jump Bobby Lashley, but Bobby Lashley is the almighty. He takes them out, and they're just jerk-off mid-carders who don't get any TV time anyway at this point, so who really gives a shit, right? We go to RK Bro recap of what's going on with them in the Alpha Academy. Highlights! Riddle had a spot in the back with Randy Orton that was really funny. Orton was getting annoyed with him because he didn't tag him in. So what happened was Randy Orton, of course, had a big marker, Sharpie, wrote out Riddle's hands, tag Randy in. So that happened. The tag titles on the line. RK Bro facing the Alpha Academy for the 57th fucking time. Whatever. But 57th time is a charm. RK Bro drops the tag team titles to Alpha Academy. Anatomy of the match went pretty simple. Riddle was off to a good start, but then took most of the heat. They tagged Randy in. Randy had a great comeback, but Randy was given by Chad Gable a clothesline over the top rope. kind of got Randy feeling a little weak. And then when there was a blind tag, Randy was being preoccupied with Chad Gable. He goes for an RKO on Gable. Gable pushes him into Otis. Big Otis comes up, power slam, drops Randy Orton, and only the third or fourth offensive maneuver done on Randy Orton beats him. RK Bro loses the tag team titles. And good for Chad Gable and Otis. They've been busting their asses with not the best gimmick, but they're making it work. And the Tree Trunk and the Master are your new tag team champions. Not sure what will happen with the dynamic of RK Bro going forward. You got to assume RK Bro is breaking up and Riddle and Orton will fight each other at WrestleMania. And you would assume that Randy would be the heel. I think I might like to see Riddle as a heel. Am I weird? It really wasn't a spot where they broke up or there were problems. It was just a situation where they just lost. So if they are going to use this as a springboard to break them up, I don't think this match did a really good job of doing that. Really nothing different, and you can't really blame Riddle or Orton for losing this, except for Orton because he only took 3 offensive moves and got beat. But that just shows you that tree trunk ability of Otis. Anyway, go to the back. Fun promo with Damian Cross and the Street Profits talking about their roots, particularly in Philadelphia, and how happy they are to be back. So since they have roots in Philadelphia, they'll probably lose, right? Well, apparently that is exactly what happened. They had a 6-man tag with the Dirty Dogs. Jesus, I hate saying that. And Apollo Crews, of course, flanked by General Aziz. And the Dirty Dogs and Apollo win with that devastating zigzag. Whoa! Match was a waste of my time. And Rollins gets introduced, and then highlights and a break. We show you that Seth Rollins is now the challenger for Roman Reigns' Universal Championship. That's going to be happening at the Royal Rumble. Seth cuts his typical goofy-ass, silly promo. He tries really hard. He does. I love Seth and how much he tries. And he's comfortable in his own skin. He is one of the best sports entertainers out there. His promos in terms of professional wrestling had the taste of aspartame, but that's neither here nor there. So when he cuts the promo, he's over the top, happy. I don't know what his character is now. He's happy all the time. I just don't know what Seth Rollins' character is. I don't know what he's going for. Now he's just Seth Freaking Rollins. He was Seth Freaking Rollins when he was the world champ, when he first had his first heel run back in the day. So I don't know what Seth's character is. I just don't. He wears big, gaudy clothing like his wife. I'm sorry, Seth. Bell to bell, you're probably the best in WWE at this point in time, since AJ Styles can't really get anything worth a sniff, and he's been involved with a 7'3" guy who doesn't know how to wrestle for the last several months, for the last almost year. So AJ hasn't been doing it. Seth, you've been the man bell to bell, but your character, I have no fucking idea what you're doing. No idea. Who are you? Who are you? We come back to Seth Rollins, and he cuts a promo how excited he is for the Royal Rumble. He's not just excited for Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar, see them punch each other until one of them doesn't get up. He said it's not really his cup of tea. He also says he's not just excited for the 30 men and 30 women who will be competing in 2 different Royal Rumbles. He's excited about that, but he's mostly excited. Why? Because he's facing Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Brother versus brother. I like what they're doing here. This is a very good dynamic. They teased it earlier on in the year between Seth and Roman. So this is actually cool, and I'm into it. I'm really, really into it. That's good. But Seth just wants everyone to know that he's going to beat Roman because he's the visionary, and I just don't love Seth Rollins' character because I'm not sure what he's going for. Is he the over-the-top fashion plate? Is he a visionary? Is he a messiah? Like, what the fuck are you doing, Seth? Bell to bell, you're good. So it doesn't matter because once the bell rings, it doesn't matter what Seth does because he's the best in-ring performer in WWE. At least right now. And those of you who are saying AJ Styles has been flanked by a giant who doesn't know how to wrestle for the last year. So he's been pretty damn limited, if you ask me. Seth Rollins has been the best wrestler in that company for a while. So after all that, let's remind ourselves of the promise of the Big E title reign and what we thought it was going to mean. Well, Big E remembered it too, so he absolutely interrupts Seth Rollins. And he tells Seth Rollins he's going to win the Royal Rumble, and then he can go to WrestleMania and beat Seth Rollins for the World Championship. I'm not really sure how he's going to fight Seth for the World Championship if he's facing Roman Reigns for the Universal title. I have no idea. But it did drop a hint that maybe Big E wins the Royal Rumble and goes after Seth if Seth beats Roman. That might happen. I would be down for that, and then Big E can get his win that way. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it might. And Big E says he wants to beat Seth Rollins at Mania to become the world champion. That was his goal. Okay. Then they have a match. He challenges Seth to that match, and Seth beats him clean. Big E is you see what he's done since he's won the world title. The guy has lost a majority of his televised matches. That's what they've done to him. And they did it here. He was enhancement talent for Seth Rollins. Seth Freaking Rollins. It was a good match. But at the same time, Big E has been booked to shit right now. And he has zero momentum. And I feel bad for him. Big E is a mid-carder again. As we said, he does the JOB. Seth gains momentum heading into the Rumble. Then we go to probably the hottest storyline in wrestling history. Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH. I was being sarcastic. Nikki ASH, this has not been a great... She's actually won the championship, the Raw Women's Championship, and she's actually won the Tag Team Championship. So this gimmick has gotten her some resume building, that's for sure. But she's been losing lately. And then there was this kind of awkward promo between Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH. It was clear Rhea Ripley did want their partnership to come to an end. They had apparently previously talked about it. Nikki ASH was at first in denial, saying that they're going to go after the tag team titles. And then once Rhea Ripley stood her ground, Nikki ASH essentially said, I've been the one carrying it this whole time. And Nikki ASH turns heel. Rhea Ripley offers some friendship. Even though we're not going to be partners again, I still want to be friends. They hug it out. Philly crowd booed, as they should. And they didn't boo that much. It really didn't evoke a lot of emotion, unfortunately. But Nikki ASH, which I'm happy she did, turns heel, cheap shots Rhea Ripley in the throat, and then punches her down. Rhea Ripley was more hurt and confused. I don't know how I'm supposed to believe Nikki ASH is going to be able to beat her unless Nikki really develops his character, kind of going back to the crazy lady, and she becomes kind of a superhero. But she's going to continue this gimmick. As she said after she was done, she said, almost superheroes don't need friends. So, that Nikki is a heel, and I think that should be a good thing. I will say that. Nikki, as a heel, will be very good, and thank God, because this gimmick really, as a babyface, wasn't doing it for anybody, not just us. Then there was a cut to the back. Dana Brooke and Reginald were having cheesesteaks, and I fast-forward 24/7 segments, so there's that. Next segment, Amos comes down. Famous Amos. Amos comes down, and he's looking like some kind of enhancement talent. He looks like he's 5'4". Not sure what his deal was. Don't even know his name. But before they get into that match, a little preview of Dewdrop. She goes and she cuts a promo about how she's going to win the triple threat match tonight between Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, and go on to face Becky Lynch for the Royal Rumble. And after that promo, they take a break. They come back to Amos beating the living shit. And I fast-forwarded it. I don't think I need to see Amos beat up an enhancement talent. You've been giving this guy enhancement talent and showing this guy's dominance for over a year. I don't need to see it. I get it. He's really tall. He can't wrestle, but he's really tall. I get it, WWE. I understand. After he wins, highlights! And they come back, and then Edge comes out. It's going to be the cutting edge with his wife. But we're going to go to a commercial first. We come back from commercial. Edge introduces Beth Phoenix. She comes out. They are the grit couple, after all. Puts over Beth, all of her accomplishments, shows a video package. Everything's looking great. And yes, if you were thinking the Miz and Maurice were going to interrupt, you were right. Miz and Maurice comes out. Miz cuts a great promo. I mean, you talk about all four of these people in this they're just all four great sports entertainers. I don't know how good of professional wrestlers they are, but they're all good sports entertainers at this point in time. They all rehearsed their lines perfectly. They said them great. It was really great acting all around from all four. Great sports entertainers. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to bash them, but this, let's be honest, this angle has done absolutely nothing for anybody. Unless you're strictly a WWE homer and you like whatever the hell they do, this has been nothing, and it's been in the shadow of CM Punk and MJF. Beth Phoenix comes out and says, I noticed that you don't talk a real lot when I'm around, insinuating that Maurice is very, very afraid of her. I can see Maurice getting the win at Royal Rumble now, essentially. Promo ends with Miz cutting a Dynamite promo saying how Maurice, tell Beth Phoenix what you're going to do to her, and Maurice, and putting over Maurice, and she can do anything to Beth Phoenix, which we know probably can't happen. And as that is happening, Maurice, in a very funny way, awkwardly just looks around and just walks away and goes to the back. So that was actually a pretty fun spot. But overall, this whole storyline, particularly the way it started, has not blown my skirt up whatsoever. This segment did very little to achieve that even more, except all I can say is they all did some great sports entertaining. Then we go to highlights. Austin Theory interviewed in the back about his match with AJ Styles, and he talked that Vince McMahon gave him the sound advice of, don't screw this up. Was a very good match for the time that they had. Didn't have a lot of time. Nothing to write home about considering you have two great wrestlers. Whatever. Decent match for what they had. Grayson Waller. I guess he's from NXT. Grayson Waller interferes. AJ wins via disqualification. And that's how that ends. And AJ Styles is now beating AJ Styles all over the place. I don't know if they're going, is he going to finish his program with Amos, or is Amos just on a stay? I'm not sure what's going on with that. Because that was a really whatever breakup. I mean, let's be honest. So, what have you. I'm glad AJ's doing some wrestling. He's going to be on NXT tonight, so check it out. Then we go in the back. Liv Morgan promo, and she says she's going to win the triple threat match with Bianca and Doudrop. And she's going to finally make good on all the opportunities she has. I mean, she's had so many title shots. I really can't root for her anymore. Sorry. I know it's great she's not giving up. I know, but how many pay-per-views or main events on a Raw have we seen? Even SmackDown before she got drafted over to Raw. Liv Morgan has gotten so many opportunities. It's not really easy for me to root for her anymore because she's failed every single time. And the last time, she didn't even fail by dirty knees. Becky beat her cleanly, even though she tried pushing her foot out to the back to make it look like she cheated. But Liv Morgan just got beat cleanly because the execution of the finish was bad and didn't do much for her either. I don't think Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan needs to try something different in terms of storylines. But hey, what do I know? Big Time Bex is introduced. And then we go to a vignette for Alexa Bliss. Looks like she's going to have the same gimmick, folks. She was able to stop those little balls that go back and forth in the shrink's office. She was able to stop those with her mind. So she's still magical and whimsical. And she's still apparently holding a monster grudge toward Charlotte Flair for, as we know, destroying Lily. After she saw highlights of that the doctor would send, and the doctor showed her the highlights of Lily being destroyed. And ironically, the highlights were well produced like WWE. It's amazing how this doctor had that access. Anyways, after Alexa sees the highlights, she flips out and destroys the doctor's office. So it doesn't look like the break is going to change Alexa at all, but she's going to be coming back after Charlotte Flair. Look for Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Highlights! Becky's still in the ring. I forgot all about her after the highlight package and after the Liv Morgan promo. Holy cow. Anyway, Becky then says it doesn't matter who's going to win this triple threat match. They're going to lose to her at the Royal Rumble. And then she essentially introduces the triple threat match coming out next. This was a very, very good match. And I know I've done this before. I'll do it again. Bianca Belair is the most athletic woman I have ever seen in professional wrestling. The stuff that she does on a weekly basis in terms of her strength, in terms of her athleticism, in terms of her agility, in terms of her ability to jump, it's amazing. She picked up Doudrop and gave her a spine buster, a standing spine buster, a la my man, Farouk, or as we know him, Ron Simmons. She also did a 450 splash to break up a pin. This was a fantastic match from really start to finish. They did a great job with it. Bianca Belair was red hot. It looked like Bianca had everything under control. She hit Liv with the KOD. And it looked like she was going to win. Doudrop was indisposed because she got hit with that 450. But Becky, big time Bex, clearly afraid of Bianca Belair, even though she beat her in 26 seconds. Bianca Belair gets interrupted for her 3 count. Becky and her fight to the back. And Doudrop takes that opportunity to pull Liv Morgan to the corner and gives her that Yokozuna Doudrop, drop down, whatever. I think she calls it the Doudrop. Doudropped. And she sat on Liv Morgan in a vicious, vicious way, sitting on her and beating Liv Morgan. So Doudrop, we go off air with Doudrop's hand held high, and she will face Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, after disposing of Bianca, goes in the ring, goes face to face with Doudrop, and Becky goes for the handshake, but then smacks her across her face. I'm looking forward to it, and I know a lot of people are saying, "What the fuck, Doudrop?" When she has been given the opportunity, Doudrop has shined. I'm looking forward to actually a really good match. No chance in hell she's going to beat Becky Lynch, but I think it's going to be a good match. Keep an eye on Doudrop. I think she's actually a star, particularly now that Nia Jax isn't there. Doudrop can play the dominant, large, physical athlete, physical wrestler in the women's division that Nia Jax has been for the last 5 or 6 years. Doudrop can be that. She's a better wrestler, too. Cuts a better promo. Honestly, I actually am all in on Doudrop. I know it sounds weird. I like bigger girls. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this has been your Raw Review. Check us out. We're going to have you dropping our podcast later on in the day as well. This has been Silicon Steve Valley. We want to thank you so much for watching High Spots and Cheap Pops. Coming soon, hscpwrestling.com. That's High Spots and Cheap Pops Wrestling. We're going to have our own website. Please hit the subscribe button. Smash the subscribe button! Smash it! And we will see you guys later. Thank you so much. This is Silicon Steve Valley here right at the Lesson. Check out our news on Thursday morning for AEW Dynamite. And all things happening in the world of professional wrestling. And check this out. Coming very soon. hscpwrestling.com. That's for High Spots and Cheap Pops Wrestling. News Network podcast. We're going to be doing comedy. This is going to be really exciting. It's something that we've kind of wanted to do for a very long time. So please check it out, folks. For Vladi Dottie, you like to party. This is Silicon Steve Valley. This was your Raw Review for 1/10/22. January 10th, 2022 Raw Review. Thank you so much, folks. We'll talk to you soon.